All right, we in the game. Excuse the do-rag and the hoodie. As you guys know, COVID-19, we can't really move how we want to move. So we'll be doing this for a couple of days. I've been a couple of times on these calls. But anyway, welcome to the call again, guys. Each and every single Monday, we chit chat and we talk about success and how to get to the level. And I just love these calls every single week, man, because you get to hear, again, different success stories. The information is always new. And tonight, what I really want to dive into is commitment. All right, tonight I want to dive into commitment. And the first thing I want you to write down is that commitment to continuity produces emotional stability. Commitment to continuity produces emotional stability. I'm going to say it one more time. Commitment to continuity produces emotional stability. Now, what in the world does that mean? Well, when I'm committed to moving forward, my emotions can be stable. I don't get so flustered in the process. See, the only time we really get flustered in the process is when we're really not, we're not bought in. We're not so on the commitment of really getting to the next level. We're not committed in every single aspect of our life. So I got a few areas where I believe that commitment is a requirement to get to the next level. And the first area is growth. Man, you have to be committed to growth. Like, it is not even a question. If you want to get to the next level, then you have to grow your way to the next level, right? If you want to get to the next level, you have to grow your way to the next level. Like, if you want to double your income, you have to triple your investment into your personal growth. Now, if you want to double your income, you have to triple your investment into your personal growth and development. Because here's the deal. God can't take you where your character can't sustain you. Right? You can't be taken somewhere where your character is not going to allow you to stay. That's why so many people hit the lottery and they go back broke. So many people make it to the NFL and they go broke. Why? Because their character hasn't evolved into the person that can handle that type of income, that can handle that type of success. That's why you have to be committed to growth on a day-to-day basis, right? Personal evolution, we talked about this before. Personal evolution is the master key to success. It's the master key to success. You have to be growing intentional on a day-to-day basis, right? Growing intentional. See, there's a difference between, me just opening up a book and reading it and closing it and going about my business, right? Then it is me studying the book. There's a difference of me turning on a YouTube video and really sitting there watching the information to really understand what's happening. See, a lot of us, what we do is we just hear the information, and that's not listening. See, when you hear, you just hear with your ears, but when you're listening with emotion, right? There's a very big difference, because the information that you're taking in, it has to get to your heart so transformation can happen. Like, the information that you get, that you hear, it has to get to your heart so transformation can happen. Because that's when you really understand what's going on. Like, when you just hear stuff and it hasn't gotten to your heart yet and it hasn't sparked any kind of change yet, then the information is just wasted. All right, it's just wasted. And what you become a rock. Can you imagine somebody pouring water onto a rock? What'll happen? The water falls right off of the rock. It just, like, imagine you got a rock outside and you're pouring water on it. The water falls right off the rock. What you got to do is you got to be a sponge. You become a sponge when you internalize the information that you're learning, right? So Justin kind of hit on it on the Super Saturday that we just had, the 4 different type of knowledges. You have learned knowledge. This is where you learn something, right? You're getting the information. You're listening to understand. You're not listening just to take notes and say that you heard something. You're really trying to internalize what it is that you're listening to, right? Then you have activity knowledge. You go from learning to now you're applying what it is that you're learning. This is when you really begin to understand. When you go out there and apply it, that's when you really begin to learn, because what happens is an experience gets created. All right. And that's where wisdom comes from. Wisdom comes from experience. Like, we don't think that older people are or wise because they're just old. We believe that they're wise, or we know that they're wise because of the experiences that they've been through. So how do you become wise at a younger age? You increase the amount of experiences that you're having, meaning the information that you're getting, you're applying it as fast as you can. And then you find somebody to model. So you go from learned knowledge, activity knowledge, to modeling knowledge. Now you begin to model somebody that has the information. You begin to model the people who are doing or winning at the level of success that you want to win at, right? You find a mentor, you find a coach, and you begin to model that person. So again, now you're really internalizing the information that you're getting, right? And then you move into teaching knowledge. This is when you really know what you're talking about, because now you have the capacity to teach other people how to do it. A lot of people can never, they never move to teaching knowledge. or they don't teach the information really well, because it's one thing to be successful at something, but it's another thing to be able to teach how you became successful at the thing that you became successful at. Two completely different things. Like, you can have somebody who understands how to trade, but they don't know how to teach trading. They're not a good educator at trading. You can have somebody who knows how to build the business, but they're not good at educating other people on how to build the business, right? And you get good at educating people by constantly going through the process of learn activity. Then you move to modeling. And when you begin to teach people, you're teaching off of experience, not off of what you just know. You teach what you know, but you reproduce who you really are. So when you truly internalize the information, you now become the better teacher. Right? You now become the better teacher. You have to be committed to growth, family, day-to-day basis, constant growth on a day-to-day basis. Because again, if you want to move up the compensation plan, if you want to move up in the income ranks of trading and things of that sort, it's going to take you growing your mental, right? Your income should never, ever exceed your growth. Your income should never, ever exceed your growth. Because if your income exceeds your growth, you will always go back to who you were before. I'm speaking from experience. All right. If your income exceeds your personal self-development, you will always go back. Like, you start making $5,000, $10,000 a month, you're not ready for $5,000, $10,000 a month yet, you're always going to go back. You start making 4 or 5 G's a month yet, and you weren't ready for 4 or 5 G's a month yet, you're always going to go back. Right? And when you go back, that's when you're trying to understand, or you're looking to gain revelation about, why am I here? Why did I come back? What do I need to learn in this place that I'm at? Like, what do I got to learn here for me to be back here? Like, when I lost my income, I had to go back. I had to figure out, why am I back here? What am I supposed to learn here? Because we're meant to live life in seasons, not cycles. Most people live a season. Most people live cycles when they should be having seasons. Very, very different. Like, a season is like winter, spring, summer, fall, and the seasons change. Cycle is, I keep going through this repetitive cycle over and over and over again. But what happens to people when they fail to learn, when they fail to grow, when they fail to seek knowledge and information from the right people, from the right books, from the right mentors, what happens is that season now turns into a cycle. So you weren't supposed to stay at the income that you're at, but because you didn't seek the knowledge, because you weren't focused on growth, because you weren't tripling and doubling down on your investment into growth, you have to stay somewhere where it was supposed to be a season and not a cycle. That's why you have to be committed to growth every single day. Constantly. No matter how good you become, it's always room for growth. No matter how good you become, it's always something more to know. Like, always, you never know everything. Right? It's always knowledge here that's right around you that you'll miss. Because as you get better, as you grow, your level of awareness raises, and you start picking up on information that's already here. Because here's a secret: there's no such thing as new knowledge. There's no such thing as new knowledge. The knowledge is already here. All the knowledge that ever will be is already here. Like, the knowledge on how to create an iPhone was here 30, 50 years ago. It was here thousands of years ago. But the problem was people's level of awareness. Right? Because as people began to grow and times began to change and the evolution began to take place, people's level of awareness began to raise, and the information that had already been here on how to create an iPhone, their mental capacity had finally grown to a place where they could understand how to now create the iPhone. So you have to always be growing because the information is already here. But your level of awareness has to get to a point where you can pick up on that information. Like, you have to get obsessed with your growth. But here's the deal: you can't get so obsessed with your growth that you're not doing activity. Like, you can't just read all the books but don't apply what you're reading. You can't just watch all the videos about how to build a network marketing business but you're not launching anybody. Like, it's a hand-in-hand type of deal. It's a two-step process, right? For all the time that you spend reading and watching videos, you want to spend that equivalent amount of time, if not more, building a business in the trenches. Commitment to continuity produces emotional stability. See, when I'm committed to growth, my emotions will be stable because I know I'm growing. Because when there's evidence of growth, results will always follow. When there's evidence of growth, results will always follow. But if there's no evidence of growth, there can be no results. When there's no evidence of results, there's no evidence of growth. But you know what happens to people? They get so committed to the results, B-Tape. This is where they fail. People get committed to the results, but they're not committed to the resolve. You got to be committed to the resolve, because if you get so caught up on the results and looking at the results, it'll knock you off track from keeping your eyes on the resolve, keeping your eyes on the process, keeping your eyes on the growth. Because here's the deal, family. A goal is not necessarily for you to get. A goal is for you to grow. Yes, you want to hit the goal. Yes, you want to achieve the goal, but the goal is really set for you to grow. Like when you set the goal for Chairman 10, it's not just about making $10,000 a month. It's the person, it's the leader, it's the human being that I become on the journey to $10,000 a month. You understand what I'm saying? So you got to be committed to the resolve, like the process, and not just the results. But the challenge for people, they get so caught up on what's happening in front of them. You're going to have three influences in your life, family. You're going to be influenced by the past, you're going to be influenced by the present, or you're going to be influenced by the future. You have to be influenced by the future, not what's happening in front of you right now, the present, and not what's happened to you in the past. None of that stuff matters. You got to be committed to the end goal, the vision. That's where your commitment has to be. And when you're growing intentionally every day, family, you just automatically know you have the end goal in mind. So you don't care about, I'm not platinum 1,000 yet. You know that I'm going to be one. You know that I already am one. That's your thought process. You're not so caught up in, the people not joining right now, because, if you're committed to continuity, if you're committed to growth, they have no choice but to join my business, because I'm growing. And when I'm growing, income is flowing. When my organization is growing, income is flowing. So you got to be committed to growth. Again, if you want to double your income, you have to triple your investment in personal growth, and triple your time, triple the income that you're investing. Go out there and buy the books. Like, books so cheap. Like, you can go on Amazon, just buy whatever type of information you want to know. You can go out there and buy it on Amazon. You can buy it like at a click of a button on the Apple Store. Right? You got to, again, invest into your brand, invest into yourself. Like, you are the business. So many people work in the business, they fail to work on the business. You are the business. You have to work on you. Like, you're the business. Like, you're the brand. Like, if you don't get that, you always gonna struggle. Like, constant improvement, family, will create automatic exposure. When you're always growing, you're always focusing on improving and getting to the next level and becoming better, people have no choice but to see you. They have no choice but to join you. They have no choice but to say, I want to launch with you. They have no choice but to say, I want to work with you, because they can't deny when somebody's growing right in front of their face. They can't deny that. It's clear as day that this person is growing. Why don't I want to work with them? Why wouldn't I work with them? Why wouldn't I let them show me how to make money trading? They're growing like crazy every single day. Every time I get on Instagram, they look like a different person. Every time I talk to them, they're speaking from a different place now. I just talked to this person 2 months ago, but man, they sound like a completely different person. I was watching what they was posting on Instagram 3 months ago, but now everything about their Instagram has now changed because they've grown. I have no choice but to figure out what the heck they're doing now. Commitment to continuity will produce emotional stability. See, your emotions are all out of whack because you're not growing. And because you're not growing, you don't have no evidence for results to show up. Growth, there has to be some evidence of your result, of your growth, so results can say, all right, let's get it. You got to grow. Second thing, you got to be committed to excellence. You have to be committed to excellence, right? When there's an absence of excellence, there's a presence of mediocrity. When there's an absence of excellence, there's a presence of mediocrity. There's a presence of averageness. You have to be committed to excelling in every single area of your life, not just in the business. You got to be committed to being excellent in every area. Like if you're a boyfriend right now, you got to be committed to being the best boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, student. Like it doesn't matter, because how you do anything is how you do everything. If you're a crappy husband, you're going to be a crappy businessman. If you're a crappy girlfriend, you're going to be a crappy businesswoman. If you have no discipline trading, you're not going to have discipline building a business. If you don't have any patience trading, you're not going to have any patience building a business. How you do anything is how you do everything. So you got to be committed to excellence. You got to be committed to getting to the next level every single day. You got to become a professional in everything that you do. You have to become a professional in building a business. You got to become a professional trading. But before you become a professional in the physical world, meaning your results, you become a professional mentally first. In your mind, you know that you're professional. Your mind is geared to growing towards professionalism in everything that you do, because professionals have reached a certain level of mastery, and your money is going to be in your mastery. Man, it's getting good. Your money is in your mastery. Yep, that's where your money's at. It's in your mastery. But see, if you haven't been focused on becoming a master, you're just settling for mediocrity. And guess what? When you're mediocre, the marketplace has an option of who they want to join with. Like when you're mediocre, people have an option of who they want to work with. Like they have an option to say, yo, you should do this. Or yo, no, it's no, see, when you become a master, there's no option. Like they know, and they're going to pay you because you're a master. Because you've been focused on becoming excellent in every single area of your life. I'm not just trying to be an excellent businessman. You understand what I'm saying? I'm trying to be an excellent husband, an excellent father, because if I'm an excellent husband and an excellent father, I have no choice but to be an excellent businessman. I have no choice but to be an excellent author. I have no choice but to be an excellent orator. I have no choice but to be an excellent leader. Why? Because I'm focused on excelling in every single area of my life. And because my discipline is on point, guess what? That discipline is going to ooze into every other area. That's why I got to be focused on excellence. Because when there's an absence of excellence, there's a presence of mediocrity. And when there's mediocrity present, the marketplace has an option. You got to focus on becoming a master. Masters are the ones that make the money, family. Professionals are the ones that make the money, family. You got to learn. If you're building a business, you have to focus on learning all the skills that are necessary to become a professional. You got to drown yourself in that information every day. Like you got to drown yourself in the voices of Eric Worre, the Houghton Bugs, the Davids, all the top earners of the industry. Like if you want to become a master in trade, you got to drown yourself in the voices of Christopher Derrick, Luke Longemeyer, Kim Torres, like whatever trader like you listen to that you like. You got to drown yourself in that voice because you have to become a master. Like I hear the word mentor get thrown around so much, but people fail to understand what mentorship really means. Like if you're calling somebody your mentor, that means you're basically saying, I'm gonna do everything the way that they do it. That's why I don't call everybody my mentor. I don't care how much they know. Everybody's not necessarily a mentor. They can't be. Because if you're gonna call somebody your mentor, that means that you're going to allow them to correct you. That means they have the ability to correct you. See, coaching and mentorship are different. Like if somebody's my mentor, I'm listening to everything that they're saying. I'm not going to question what they're saying. Why? Because I understand the role of mentorship. I got to listen to what David says and go apply it. He's the template. So I got to listen and just go and apply it. I gotta watch, I gotta follow, I gotta model and go apply it. I'm going to take everything that David tells me and internalize without question because he's my mentor. That's where you got to get. Because if you're calling Christopher Derrick your mentor, that means you're listening to everything that he's saying without question. There's no buts, there's no rebuttals. I'm listening to what he's saying. Why? Because he's my mentor. And the role of a mentee is to listen to everything that the mentor has to say. Not because the mentor is better, but because the mentor sees the field from a different perspective than you do. That's why mentorship is so important. There's a difference between coaching and mentorship. And so if you're calling somebody your mentor, that means you're committed to excelling at the level that your mentor is excelling at. That means you're going to internalize everything that they tell you without question until you see that it doesn't work. until you see that it does not work for you. Boom. And then you still listen. Why? Because they're still mentor. Right? Very, very, very important. Because every master was once an amateur. Every master was once a rookie. Every professional was once a rookie. But how do they excel? They listen to the right voice. They have people to listen to. They seek the right information. They're focused on excelling in every single area. They understand that, hey, the money that I make is going to be found in my mastery. If I focus on becoming a master at the things that I do, I leave the marketplace no option. Like the people, they don't have an option to say, oh, well, you know what, this person recruited me too, but you know, I'm having a hard time about who I want to join with. No, but when you're a master, they don't care. They join you. They don't care about who get them up first. They see the master on the inside of you, and they want to join you. That's why I gotta be focused on becoming excellent every single day. So I gotta be committed to growth. I gotta be committed to excellence. And more importantly, I gotta be committed to leadership. Listen, everybody on the call is a leader. Everybody on the call is a leader. The problem is not everybody recognizes the leader that lies on the inside of them. And because they don't become aware of the leader that lies on the inside of them, they remain a follower. And then they can never move into that leadership role. Because here's how I know everybody's a leader. Like everybody is a born leader. How do I know? Because everybody was created with the same spirit, the spirit of God. God is a leader, no question. So that means leadership capabilities were put on the inside of you. But you have to be the one to search the information, read the books, get around the right people so that the leader on the inside of you can begin to rise up. How does that leader on the inside of you begin to rise up? You're around the right people. Like that's one way. You get around leaders and you're going to start saying, man, I got those same capabilities on the inside of me. I got that same thing on the inside of me. And you begin to watch, you begin to study, you begin to listen. Not here, you begin to listen, you begin to observe. I still haven't said anything about talking yet. I still haven't said anything about you in the field leading yet. No, you're still in training. But see, when I'm around the right people, man, this just dropped in my spirit. You got to get around the people that's going to make your baby leap on the inside of you. See, that's what happened in the good book. When Mary got around Elizabeth, guess what happened? The baby on the inside of her began to leap. That's how your leadership is. When you get around other people that have leadership capabilities on the inside of them, the leadership in you begins to rise because you say, man, if they can do it, I can do it. If they're leading the people, I can lead the people. If they have that level of ability, I know I have those same levels of abilities and capabilities on the inside of me. You got to become aware. Awareness is everything, right? Awareness is everything, right? So at the end of the day, family, leadership is simply influence. Leadership is simply influence, right? Because right now, how I know you're a leader, you may not be just necessarily a leader in this business yet, but you're a leader in life. Why? Because there's somebody that you lead. Like you may be a husband, you lead your family. You may be a school teacher and you lead your students. You may be a manager at your job and you lead your employees. Like everybody is in a leadership role where they have some level of influence. But how do you become a leader in this business? How do you raise your influence in this business? You raise your skill sets. You raise your skill set and you're constantly evolving. That is going to allow you to have influence. Because now people see the work that you're putting in and they see the growth that's happening in your life. Now they want to follow you. Now they trust you. There can be no leadership without trust. If your organization, if your family, if your people that you're working with, if they don't trust you, they won't follow you. If they can't see through you, they won't follow you. If you seem fake to them, they won't follow you. They won't listen to you. They have to be able to see through you. Like transparency is the key for leadership. If they can trust you, if they can trace you, they can trust you. All right. So leadership really comes down to two things, family: who we are and what we think. Who we are and what we think. Who we are has everything to do with our ability to lead, right? What we think has everything to do with our mentality. So who are you? Like, who are you? How do you think right now? Because the way that you answer those questions would be evidence or leading you to the point as to why you're not leading the way that you should be leading yet. Because trapped in every single follower is a leader. Trapped in every customer on the line right now is a leader. Trapped in every single P150 right now is a leader. Trapped in every Platinum 600 right now is a leader. Trapped in every person that says, you know what, I just want to be a trader is a leader. Like everybody on the line, you were born with leadership abilities. It's your job to tap in and find those abilities. It's your job to get around the right people that can help that leadership on the inside of you jump. Right? Very important, because when you're focused on growing as a leader, you can always grow the volume in your business. When you're focused on growing your ability as a leader, you can always grow the volume in your business. Your ability to grow volume will always be dependent on your leadership ability. Your ability to grow your volume will always be predicated on your leadership ability. Why? Because we don't get put in leadership roles, family, just to be in a leadership role. There's 3 reasons for you being in a leadership role. In whatever role of leadership that you're in, not even just IML. That I don't like to talk about anything that just only applies to IML. That's too surface for me. If you notice, every call has something that can be applied to every single area of your life. So in terms of the school system, in terms of basketball, in terms of business, in terms of whatever the case may be, family, your job is to do 3 things as a leader. Discover other leaders, develop other leaders, and deploy other leaders. That's your job. That's our job. Discover other leaders, potential leaders, develop those potential leaders, and then deploy those leaders. And guess what they have to do? If they're a leader, they'll do the same exact thing that you did. They'll do the same exact thing that you just did. You teach them how to discover, you teach them how to develop, and you teach them how to deploy. The more that you can do that, the less you have to worry about the volume in your organization. Because this business is not about people. This business is about leadership. I'm talking to my people that's building a business right now. It's not about people. It's not about how many people can I get to join my business. It's not how many people join the organization this week. It's about how many people can I develop to go out there and do this business outside of me. Like, that's what it really boils down to. Like, how many people gonna join? I'm gonna develop them and I can deploy them. Because if they just joining and they just customers, they're not doing anything, guess what? You gotta keep acquiring customers. You gotta keep acquiring customers. But the quicker you bring people in, figure out who's the talented person, who has the network, who has the influence, you begin to develop them. You show them how to do it. You show the plan with them. They watch you do it. They start hosting the calls. And then y'all start showing the plan together. And then they start showing the plan by themselves. And then they teach other people how to show the plan. That's what it really boils down to. Until that's happening, you're always going to be working in the business and you're never going to have time to work on the business. Because you're always head down. This is about leadership. That's what this business is. It's not network marketing, it's leadership development. But see, I can't develop as a leader if I'm not focused on 2 things: developing personally, developing in the area of growth, but then pursuing excellence every single day. Because as a leader, you got to set the example of what winning looks like. As a leader, you set the example of what a champion looks like. As a leader, you set the example of what a chairman looks like. As a leader, you set the example of what a 6-figure trader looks like. You set that example, so now people have the example to follow. It's not your job to show somebody how to get rich. That's not your job. You show people how you got rich. You show people what you did. You should be able to pull out your planner and show people what you did, the work that you do, right? So that they don't have to ask. They can just see it. They can just see it. That's what it really boils down to. So you got to be focused on growing as a leader every single day, because again, how you do anything is how you do everything. If you're not focused on leading people in the business, you can't lead your family. If you're not focused on leading your family to financial freedom, you can't lead anybody else to financial freedom. How you do anything is how you do everything. Commitment to continuity will always produce emotional stability. If I'm focused on growth, if I'm focused on excellence, if I'm focused on leadership, I have no reason for my emotions to be out of whack. Why? Because I'm focused on growing every single day. And when there's evidence of growth, results have no choice but to follow. Like when there's evidence of growth, results have no choice but to show up because I'm growing. Like there has to be results because I'm growing. But if you're not focused on growing in those areas, how can results show up? Like how can they? If you're not developing that leader that God put on the inside of you. Like there's a leadership spirit on the inside of you that you got to tap into because it's there. It was put in you before you was even formed in your mother's womb. Like everybody has the capability, but not everybody taps into it. Leadership is spiritual. Leadership is very spiritual. It's something called the spirit of leadership. Everybody has it on the inside of them, but not everybody becomes aware that it lies there. And the quicker you become aware that it's there, the quicker you can tap into it. Like when we talked about the supernatural, the steps of living in the supernatural, you first have to be aware of the supernatural power. You first have to be aware of the leadership spirit that lives on the inside of you. And when you become aware with it, you can now become one with it. Like you become aware of the supernatural power that lives on the inside of you, and then you become one with that supernatural power. You become aware of the leadership spirit that lies on the inside of you, and you become one with that supernatural power, that leadership ability, that leadership spirit. And then you focus on becoming more and more and more and more aware of it. You begin to seek information and seek knowledge to figure out how can I increase my level of leadership? How can I get better in the area of my mentality? How can I become a junkie when it comes down to pursuing excellence in every single area of my life? When you do that, you have no choice but to see the fruits that you want to see. It just has to happen. It has to manifest. It has no choice but to work out for you because you're focused on growth, family. Like when evolution happens, a caterpillar always turns into a butterfly. But until evolution happens, a caterpillar has to just roll on its stomach like the other caterpillars. But once evolution takes place, the caterpillar that was once a caterpillar becomes a butterfly, and it equals automatic elevation. It's automatically seen. It's the most beautiful thing that you will see. And people get so excited when a butterfly lands on them, but we fail to realize sometimes that, hey man, this used to be a bug scrolling around on the ground. Until you evolve, until you focus on growing in each and every single area, guess what you remain? You remain somebody that has potential in them, but they don't ever tap into it. And so they continue to be on the ground with everybody else and they never fly. That's why you gotta be focused on growing. Evolution, becoming somebody different. Justin said something on the call that was so powerful. He said, if you are the person that could receive what you want, you will have already gotten. Like if you were the person that could receive what you wanted, you would already have it. Most of us, we haven't gotten what we wanted yet. What does that mean? We got to keep growing into that person no matter how much success you get. There's always somebody else that you have to become. Like you see me now, but you have no clue what I'm going to look like 2 years from now. This is only 3 years in. Can you imagine what another 3 years looks like of committed to growth, committed to excellence, committed to getting better and helping other people grow as leaders? Think about what you could look like over the next 3 years. Like, think about that. Like, don't have like this small, short, vague vision. Like, have something big, have something that you can see, something that's clear. God can't bless what you can't see. So if you don't see yourself as a chairman, if you don't see yourself as a leader, if you don't see yourself as this amazing trader, how can God bless it? You can't even see it. He can't bless a vague vision. It has to be clear. Commitment to continuity produces emotional stability. If you're focused on continuously growing in every single area, your emotions will be stable. You don't get flustered, and you can live in the supernatural. You can live in la la land. Why? Because you're focused on getting better. And you know that because of your faith, it don't matter what's happening in this fleshly world. Nothing matters except what was the vision that lies on the inside of my mind, the vision that lies on the inside of my heart. So with that being said, family, hope everybody got value. Listen, we have an event on Thursday. We have a major event on Thursday. It's on a webinar. I believe everybody should tap into it. It's an opportunity call where we're going to do this once a week. We spoke about it before, but just once a week, guys. It's going to be at 9:30. The flyer will be dropped. We're going to have different speakers speaking on the call. We're going to have different testimonials, people that have made money trading. Want to call out who's made money trading in the chat. It's going to be a real event, webinar style. I believe we're going to have another prayer call tomorrow. I'm going to talk with B Jack about it after the call, but I believe we'll have another prayer call tomorrow at probably 9 or 10 a.m. or something like that. And then I know all the other leaders, man, have opportunity calls that they're doing. Man, tap in, get your guests on the call. Like if your organization has an opportunity call, tap in, come with guests. Your organization has a leadership call they're doing, don't miss the call. Like, leaders don't miss events. Like, if you're a leader, if you just recognize the fact to say, man, listen, I'm a leader, listen, you'll show up to everything that your organization is doing. All right, if your organization has a call that they're doing, get on the call, whether you have guests or not. All right, if your chairman or your P5 or your P2 say this is what let's get on it. Like, don't question it because you're a leader. So yes, B Jack said prayer call 9:30 tomorrow. We'll drop the link in the chat box. But yeah, guys, so let's have an amazing week. It's about to be very supernatural. Like, I just said something in the group chat this morning that hit me during my prayer time, so I wouldn't let that slip. I wouldn't allow that to kind of just go through your mind. Like, that was very important what I said this morning. 8 days, man. 8 days. Take it serious. So I love you all. Let's have an amazing week. See y'all at the debate. Love you all.